code is identical to ours. And that's why chimpanzees have been used in medical experiments for decades. In our next story, we'll meet a group of people devoted to giving something back to these animals who have done so much for the quality of human life.
Tom's a long way from home. Born in Africa, he was brought to the United States when he was young to be used in medical research. For many research chimps, the lab is the end of the road. Others, like Tom, are left alive but traumatized by decades of medical experiments. But Tom was relatively lucky. He's one of 15 chimpanzees who were retired to the Fauna Foundation Sanctuary, a home for neglected and abused animals outside Montreal, Canada. One of the employees there is Pat Ring, a former cattle rancher. 3 years ago, when he was told about the arriving chimps, he was new at the foundation and he was worried.
Tom. That chimp was 200 pounds, 250 pounds, had the strength of it. 8 men could pick up 1,000 pounds with one arm. It was like, whoa, you're out of your mind. There ain't no way that we're going to be able to contain these.
Pat was accustomed to working with more docile animals.
He's a big boy. I was kind of a redneck before. I had beef cattle. Cattle were just, it was an animal, it was a product.
Aaron Ketter from the Fauna Foundation remembers how Pat first dealt with the chimps.
You saw someone who still tried to use the kinds of methods he would use with, say, the cows. So he'd be calling them in a way that I think sort of made us cringe.
Tom, I'm Pat.
But Pat became fascinated by how human-like the chimps were, and one in particular intrigued him.
Are we going to be friends? I was told from the lab that when Tom first arrived that not to trust him, not to trust any chimp, especially a male chimp, an adult chimp. We were told don't go near with fingers, you could lose a finger, if they could grab you.
But Tom seemed so in need of attention that Pat couldn't help talking to him.
And we tried to mix him with other chimps and he just didn't get along. Good boy.
Since leaving Africa, Tom had rarely been with his own kind. Most of his 30 years as a research chimp were spent enduring countless injections and biopsies. He had been anesthetized over 300 times. Tom had even been injected with HIV. Many of the other chimps shared similarly bleak histories. As a result, they were in a constant state of anxiety, often expressing it in violent rages.
When they first arrived, you couldn't walk into the building without there being chaos. There was screaming, there was banging, there was rocking. The chimps were pulling their hair out.
They're terrified to have you go near them. When you do get a little close, they're reaching out and trying to hurt you, which I thought was just mean at first, but when you look at them and you see what's being done to them, you understand it. They're fighting back.
But as the chimps adjusted to their new retirement home, they began to calm down. At least here they were safe. Still, the staff knew that they could never let the chimps out of the cages or go in, as they were still wild animals, and yet they lacked the skills to survive on their own. So it would be up to Pat and the Fauna Foundation staff to care for Tom and the others for the rest of their days.
He just has them eyes that he's calling for help. I don't know how to explain it. Come here. Move your table up. Good boy.
In spite of Tom's long history of suffering at the hands of humans and Pat's previous occupation, even the cages couldn't prevent the connection that was forming between them.
When Tom looked at me like that, I was very, very surprised for the way I felt about him. And I'm not a kind of a person that's real soft, kind of, or at least to tell me I'm kind of hard, but I just had this spot for Tommy. I just had that gut feeling, I guess you could say. It was something between us that just was there. Okay. He's a good boy.
As the unspoken bond grew, Pat decided to offer some of his usual afternoon tea to Tom.
I brought Tedley tea, my favorite tea, and I poured him some and made it, and he sat there and he drank his tea with me, and then that's the only tea he'll drink now. Is it good tea? He's kind of like me. I only drink that too.
What's he doing? Is it good?
As the months turned into years, the chimps became healthier and happier. Tom and Pat became best friends.
Our trust has grown greatly in 3 years. And I think I could do just about anything, but I don't believe Tommy would ever hurt me.
This bond between man and chimp is even more profound considering Tom is HIV positive.
He had been infected with 10,000 times a lethal dose for a human.
But Pat's eyes have been opened to some facts he never knew.
I mean, I was totally ignorant to HIV virus and what was going on, and I started reading on it and learned that it's only blood-to-blood contact. But now here's somebody you love, and it's like there's nothing to be scared of about it. Tommy can touch me or hold me and give me a kiss. I'm not gonna get the virus. I think it's mutual love. I see Tom as not as a chimp. Everybody says it's my brother, and they'll mix up and call me Tom, and him Pat, and but hey, I'm proud of that.
Although Pat realizes that this is the best place for Tom now, he wishes that things could have been different for his friend.
I mean, I'm not an animal rights activist, but I believe animals have their rights. And I also believe that chimps that are wild, or animals that are wild, whether it be elephants or anything, should be left in the wild.
But at least they have found each other. In spite of all the horrible things Tom has endured, he will live out his old age knowing that someone truly loves him. And that's a blessing to be wished upon us all.
And the scary part is I'm starting to learn the chimp language. My granddaughter, she was small. I was standing there and I was playing with her and I was going, I realized what I was doing. It was, oh my God, I'm turning chimp.
I guess I believe that everyone gets to meet a soulmate. And I think that, I think Tom is probably Pat's soulmate, and vice versa.
He's loving, he's caring, he's very, very forgiving. I think the miracle in this story is that after you've had some of these chimps out of the lab, that they could be as loving as they are and trust people again. If we had that same kind of trust and forgiveness, this world would be a much better place.